Ohio State. Interesting stuff coming out. A lot of guys in the transfer portal, a lot of 5 stars, a lot of 4 stars. Just what the hell is going on? I'll just ask big picture. Like, what is going on with Ohio State? Adam, any idea of like what the feel is there?
I mean, I think the feel is that Ohio State's in the major transfer quarterback market, and Kyle McCord at the portal. There's rumors. I don't know what the latest status is on like the Ohio State beat. There's rumors of Devin Brown being, possibly transferring. I don't know if something might have came out while we're sitting here. So clearly Ohio State's going to go after one of these top guys in the portal that we're seeing right now, as I think they should. I like Kyle McCord. I think he won big games. That Notre Dame game, he won that game with his arm at the end of the game. But at Ohio State, man, like they've had some legendary great quarterbacks, and I just think the standard is a little bit higher than what Kyle McCord has done this season. And obviously losing to Michigan doesn't get the job done. So Ryan Day knows the pressure's there. He's going to go get a big time transfer. You think like Cam Ward, you think all these guys in the portal. There's so many now. I do think if Devin Brown doesn't transfer before the game, great opportunity for Devin Brown to kind of prove that he's worthy of that opportunity. He clearly played well in training camp. The fact that Kyle McCord had been there for a couple of years and Devin Brown was that close in competition in camp gave me concerns from the beginning about Kyle McCord, and shows a lot about Devin Brown. So if he looks great, then that's great. If not, they're going after a transfer quarterback. I think they go after a big time transfer quarterback no matter what. But this game will tell us a lot about their plan moving forward.
I think that's exactly. I almost wonder if this McCord news caught him a little bit off guard. We'll see how it plays out because they better have a big time transfer quarterback. I think Devin Brown is fine, but not to that standard you said, Adam. I don't think he meets that standard. And here's my concern is, I would bet on McCord's progression. If I just had as an outsider's opinion, I would bet on McCord's progression this offseason, allowing him to elevate his game more than I don't know who it's going to be. In year one, where Ryan Day is effectively, man, his back's against the wall. Let's call it what it is. He's a damn good coach. He's won a lot of games. His back is against the wall. He has to beat Michigan. So it's a tough spot to be in at this point, man. And part of the issue with McCord is, he said that Michigan game, he said it was just another game. That was one of the biggest issues with this whole situation. And it's not true. Yeah. You're going to have to go get a guy from somewhere else who doesn't really understand how bad that comment actually is. So I don't know. I mean, I trust Ohio State. It's a desirable
this is the interesting point. And this is the interesting point because there's no doubt in my mind that there was conversations had of, hey, we're going to go get some competition this year. Yeah. And I think it's a hard thing for a coach because you want to keep your roster intact. You want to keep, obviously, a guy that started there just in case there is this massive step from year 1 to year 2, like a progression at the quarterback. Like, is he going to be a better quarterback next year than he is this year? Probably. Would it be good enough to beat Michigan? Will it be good enough to win a national championship? I don't know. Yeah. But at least we know it's going to be better probably with another year as QB1. But do you at least, if that did happen, do you at least appreciate Day letting him know that, hey, we're going to hit the portal and bring someone else in? Or should Day just kind of let that play out and not told him?
It's the hard thing to do as a coach, but it's the right thing to do as a coach. And I think you should choose to do the right thing as much as possible. You got to look a guy, because otherwise you lose trust in your locker room. You lose trust across the board. Look the guy in his eyes and say, we're going to bring in competition. I believe in you. I think you can do it. We're going to give you all the resources. But, this is not a guaranteed spot right now. Yeah. I want the guy that hears that and says, good, I'll prove to you that I'm the guy anyways, and McCord chose to take another route.
And two, I think it comes down to like self-awareness for Kyle McCord, right? Like if they're going after a transfer quarterback and just kind of understanding the situation, like Jake, I think that like your point about Kyle McCord saying, I hear you and I'm going to stick it out. I think that's hard, man. Like in today's college football, to ask guys to do that when there is the transfer portal, when there is NIL money, and when so many of these top guys, look at the Heisman candidates, so many of these top guys are transfer quarterbacks who started somewhere and finished their career at multiple different spots because they're finding the best opportunity for them. So I don't really blame Kyle McCord. Like if they were bringing in a transfer and they're going after a Cam Ward or a Will Howard or like, that your back's up against the wall with that transfer coming in, and you only have so much time in your college career to prove it. So I think hopefully it works out for Kyle McCord and he finds a good landing spot. Aaron, I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, like what quarterbacks in the portal do you think would be good at Ohio State that you think, there's obviously like Riley Leonard who's probably going to go to Notre Dame. You got DJU, you got Dylan Gabriel now. Who do you think fits there?
Well, and I thought you brought up another interesting point too. Just I want to hit real quick before I answer that is if you do bring in a transfer guy and it's going to be to the Ohio State caliber, that dude's getting paid, $1.5 million, $2 million bucks. So like two for Kyle McCord, like this guy just came in and I know he's getting paid $2 million bucks. It's like the NFL. Like, that guy's getting paid more money. Yeah. Most likely he's going to be the one that he's going to give every opportunity to be QB1. From everything I'm hearing, I thought Dylan Gabriel would be a good one. But I don't know if it's already happened or I'm hearing a lot of chattering about him going to Oregon. Him going to Oregon. So I think he's off the board. I don't like Riley Leonard for that offense. I just don't think he's a good enough passer right now that he would fit into Ohio State. I know they want to get a little bit more, a guy that's a little bit more dual threat. They haven't had that since Justin Fields. So I don't know if he's necessarily a good enough passer to kind of plug in right now. If I'm them, Cam Ward's the only one that makes sense. Like I like Will Howard. He's all right, but if I'm going to spend $2 million bucks on Ohio State and I have this standard, the only one to me that kind of checks off all those boxes would be Dylan, who, like I said, thinks like he's going to Oregon, or Cam Ward from Washington State. So I also do think that if you're going to go get a guy and he was in there, that's when you have the conversations. Like you feel pretty confident you can get someone of that caliber to come be your starting quarterback next season. All right, let's jump into the game real quick. I want to hit a couple of games with you guys before we let you go. Appreciate obviously you two jumping on with us today to talk a little Big Ten. Some great games in the bowls. Obviously Ohio State versus Missouri. Missouri has a lot to play for. Ohio State, like we said, had a lot of guys, going to be some new positions, a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Can Ohio State overcome that against a very talented Missouri football team? Like what's the overall feel for this game, boys?
I think it matters a lot more to Missouri right now than it does to Ohio State.
It does.
That's something simply that factors a lot into these bowl games these days. I mean, it's a crapshoot. Who knows? 10,000 things can change by kickoff too. Who knows how many Buckeyes play and who doesn't? I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a third of their offense. They threw it to him on third down like 2/3 of the time this year. What if he doesn't play? You don't have a cord. It's crazy, man. I don't know.
It's funny because it's hard to even predict bowl game matchups right now when you don't know injuries, transfer portal, opt-outs, all that kind of stuff, and how much things can change. I mean, like you guys just said it. I had Brady Cook, their quarterback, on my podcast last week, and bowl games weren't even announced yet. But like you just get the sense that they are so fired up to be in the position they're in. They cannot wait to play in this bowl game. Like, I don't think they're going to have many opt-outs. They're going to get healthy. And Ohio State's kind of in everyone's transferring, and we want to be in the playoff, not this game. Where Missouri's like, can't believe we're in this opportunity, or we're in this upward trajectory, and let's keep the momentum going. It's a perfect opportunity for a team like Missouri to win this game.
And for Missouri, they don't care who sits out or who doesn't from Ohio State. It's still Ohio State. Like it's still, we've talked about them as one of the best teams, biggest brands. Big Ten, Missouri, we're going to go kick the Big Ten's ass. They don't care about the excuses. Like that's their mentality going into this game. It's tough, man. It's tough to overcome.
But it's a similar one like Florida State and Georgia. Like it's still Georgia, but I think Florida State's a little bit different than Missouri, where Florida State has a couple first rounders that may opt out of this game. So we'll see what Florida State does.